Hello, welcome to Scott's Odyssey. Sorry to be rushed, but I was late for a court hearing where I was the defendant. I mean, how was I supposed to know that you cannot use a goldfish when fishing? After all, the goldfish is called a feeder fish, which means a fish used for feeding other fish. See you in a minute. Wait, I keep asking you to wait a minute so that I can show you a cute intro of the famous inchworm working his way along his odyssey and advertise my logo. But it's not as if you don't already know that I edit my videos before putting them up for you to see. You can tell by the thumbnail and the title. So why keep wasting a minute of your life? By now, you all should know who I am. So, welcome back. If you've watched my videos before, thank you for your patronage. And if you're new to Scott's Odyssey, welcome aboard. I am here on the front steps of an old county courthouse within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And as stated, I apparently missed a court hearing due to something about a goldfish. Well, the reality is I didn't miss a hearing, but a hearing about goldfish being used as bait is as real as this courthouse whose steps I'm sitting on. I figured I'd give you some interesting information regarding Pennsylvania laws that really are in the books and really do still count today as much as they did on the day they were accepted as law. The first one we're going to talk about is the goldfish. Well, the goldfish being used as fish bait. Pennsylvania law states that you can use bait fish as long as they are an indigenous species that is not threatened nor endangered, and only during certain times of the year. The law continues to state specifically that it is unlawful to use or possess round gobies, tube-nosed gobies, goldfish, comets, koi, or common carp as bait fish while fishing. How serious of an offense is it if you're caught? How about a minimum fine of $120.50 plus the addition of $20 to $50 per illegal bait fish that you have in your gear, and the potential of permanent fishing licensure suspension, as well as the loss of all your gear at the scene of the crime, including your boat, and the loss of your ability to have boating privileges or any other permits regulated by the Fish and Boat Commission upon conviction. Yeah, that's serious. Now, of course, the severity of the legalities are defined based on the impact of your crime. So most of the time, it's just the $120.50 fine plus additional fines for excessive bait fish you may have. But if you get cited more than once in a 12-month cycle, you bet your bottom dollar the fullest extent of this law will be applied to you. Oh, and to your friends or family who happen to be with you at the time of your crime. Now, I know you probably think that's a bit excessive, but here's what drives such a law. The ecosystem. Goldfish are one of the very first invasive carp species brought to America in the early 1600s. And as they are today, were used more ornamentally than anything else. It was the in thing to have a fish of pretty colors and fancy exotic fins in captivity with an easy feeding and cleaning regimen and the ability to carry it around in any type of clear container to show it off to all your other hip friends. When people got bored with their fancy fish or when it went out of style, the fish usually ended up in a local freshwater creek or pond or lake, and that was it. But here's the problem. Many fish, when kept in captivity, typically will eat their own young and the eggs because that's how nature works. It's called opportunistic feeding. So they will eat everything all the time, even if you give them extra helpings of dry flakes. But when dropped into a body of water larger than a fish tank, you end up with an issue of the eggs and fry being able to survive much more easily. Add that to a breeding cycle of 3 to 4 times per season, and you end up with an infestation of fish that have no natural predators to control their population and are eating faster than the environment can provide food. This type of situation brings about the decimation of the native species of fish and other aquatic life that have been living in perfect balance for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years. Knowing that information should make this truly odd law more understandable, as opposed to Seattle, Washington, that has a law stating you cannot carry a fish in a fish tank or a bowl on public transportation because the sound the sloshing water makes might upset your fellow passengers. And as if that's not bad enough for Pennsylvania anglers, you can't catch a fish when you go fishing by using any body part like your feet or your hands, your arms. But don't be dismayed. In Pennsylvania, it is totally legal to catch a fish with your mouth. Yes, you cannot use your hands, arms, or body or legs, but you can do it with your mouth. Makes me think those who go noodling down south need to take it up a notch to keep up with Pennsylvania's anglers. The reality of this law is more based on the fact that the existing laws for fishing in Pennsylvania cover everything you may not catch a fish with, to the extent that every way you can think of catching a fish with your body is essentially covered, except catching them with your mouth. But laws like this are not limited to fish. The third law we're going to talk about: no hunting big game while they're swimming. Yep, Pennsylvania is known as one of the greatest locations for hunting big game. And by big game, we are talking about bear, elk, white-tailed deer, and wild turkeys. Yeah, wild turkeys considered big game in Pennsylvania. Title 34, Chapter 23, which outlines the laws regarding hunting and fur taking in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, states in Section 2322 Sub A Sub 5 that no person shall hunt, kill, or take, or attempt, aid, abet, assist, or conspire to hunt, kill, or take any big game except wild turkey when any big game is swimming. If you get caught right off the bat, your violation is a summary offense of the 5th degree, and your kill is considered contraband, meaning you will pay fines upward of $100 per violation, plus prosecution fees and the loss of your contraband. So when you decide to test fate and hope that the stars align when it comes to going fishing with goldfish or hunting big game while they're in the water, well, don't do that. Especially because you really won't know if your stars aligned or if you played your tarot cards right, because that too is illegal in Pennsylvania. Yes, that's right. The act of fortune telling is a legal offense in Pennsylvania. Specifically stated that a person is guilty of a misdemeanor of the 3rd degree if they pretend for gain or lucre to tell fortunes or predict future events by cards, tokens, inspection of the head or the hands of any person, or by the age of anyone, or by consulting the movements of the heavenly bodies, or in any other matter, or for gain or lucre, pretends to effect any purpose by spells, charms, necromancy, or incantation, or advise the taking or administering of what are commonly called love powders or potions, or prepares the same to be taken or administered, or publishes by card, circular, sign, newspaper, or other means that they can predict future events, or for gain or lucre pretend to enable anyone to get or to recover stolen property, or tell where lost property is, or stop bad luck or give good luck, or to put bad luck on a person or animal, or to stop or injure the business or health of a person, or shorten their life, or to give success in business, enterprise, speculation, and games of chance, or to win the affection of a person, or to make one person marry another, or to induce a person to make or alter a will, or to tell where money or other property is hidden, or to tell where to dig for treasure, or to make a person to dispose of property in favor of another. Yes, that's the paragraph. Somehow, somewhere, I think the Pennsylvania Farmer's Almanac and Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, are omitted from this law, but I'm not sure. And just to let you know how serious Pennsylvania is about this law, all that is needed for prosecution is someone deemed competent whose fortune may have been told. This particular law has been in place since at least 1861 and may have originated as far back as the provincial council meeting where William Penn served over the court on December 27th of 1683 during the first Pennsylvania witch trial. The most recent use of this law was back in 1935 at the Cambria County Courthouse, where Jenny Viscount was charged in a situation where she convinced Alice Halver that the illness her son was suffering was caused by a spell. Jenny Viscount later charged Alice Halver $100, or the equivalent of $2,081 in 2022, to make the spell disperse. Jenny took the dirt from a cemetery mixed with blood and then burned incense over the hearts of animals while sprinkling other magical ingredients around the home of the person who was alleged to have cast the original evil spell. Multiple witnesses came forward to testify that Jenny Viscount actually took Alice Halver to a cemetery in Winburn, PA, to have her bury the heart of an animal, and that Jenny also threw things from her car in front of a house on Garfield Street in Johnstown. Jenny Viscount was found guilty for this and for another similar incident involving Helen Senko. Her sentence was a very steep fine and 2 consecutive 2-year prison terms in the county jail. Another one of these interesting laws that canvassed the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is that you cannot become a governor if you participated in a duel. Now, this one is interesting because that is not what the actual law states, but most probably became popular because up until the late 1800s, a duel was the most common way of fixing an extreme difference of opinion. The last duel in Pennsylvania was between a small store owner named Thomas Stewart, who was a strong member of the Federalist Party, and Tarleton Bates, who was a strong member of the Democratic Republican Party. Tarleton's brother was the governor of Missouri Territory, Edward Bates. The reason for the duel is cloudy at best, but is believed to be regarding newspaper controversies about the two political parties and their interactions. Bates allegedly challenged the editor of the paper on difference of opinion, and Stewart was sent in his place for the duel. The duel happened, and Tarleton Bates lost, and Stewart fled to Baltimore, never to return home to Pittsburgh. This all took place on January 8th of 1806. On March 31st of 1806, Pennsylvania enacted a revision of the existing dueling law, which fully outlawed dueling and is only echoed in the current standing Pennsylvania Military Affairs Law, Title 51, Chapter 60, Section 6036, which states, any person subject to this part who, while in a duty status, fights or promotes or is concerned in or connives at fighting a duel, or who, having knowledge of a challenge sent or about to be sent, fails to report the fact promptly to the proper authority, shall be punished as a court-martial may direct. Needless to say, Pennsylvania has quite a few more of these weird laws for the state, and even more local laws that will help melt your brain. Let me know in the comments if you would like to hear more of these types of laws. And if you want to know about other trials in Pennsylvania regarding people using fortune telling and getting punished for it, click on the video right here about the lost children of the Alleghenies. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.